Well, and then Elvis's grandson,
He killed himself.
he killed himself this week.
Who was that?
I forgot his name. It's Lisa Presley's son.
And Michael Jackson's son.
No.
Well, hell, that's a whole show by itself. I mean, that was it HBO special that came out about Jackson?
I don't know. It may have been HBO or Showtime.
That was. I mean, I didn't watch it on purpose because you shared some very disturbing stuff on there. What those boys were doing, and
yeah, it's quite graphic
I didn't want
in the description, and
I don't think anybody really thought that he wasn't doing something inappropriate.
There are a lot of people out there who
that was a
crazy.
double negative.
Yes, there are a lot of people out there
Just
who
say
still
it.
support him.
You're still giving him a break.
No.
You applied a double
I'm not.
negative.
No, I mean I can't imagine that anybody was believing that he wasn't molesting children. That's what I'm saying.
And the sad
It's
part
impossible.
is that the parents weren't in on it, but they knew damn well, so they were
in the house.
in on it. You know?
They were
Yeah,
in the
but they were
same-
getting
Why don't you go ahead and hang out in the West Wing while
Yes.
I
they
go
were
over
getting
here and
they were getting money out of it, which is sick.
plant seeds
they
in your
were
son.
Okay, let's see. Collecting. What other like news depressing topics can we come up with tonight?
I thought of one along with the collecting thing, which is kind of, I guess we're all pretty much basically from the same generation. I might be a little. How old are you?
I'm 51.
Okay, I'll be 59 next month.
Wow,
So we're all
he
pretty
hides
much,
it.
pretty
Yeah.
much the same generation, I think. But it's fun to talk about the differences between what's going on now, just as a general family unit, versus what it was like when we were kids.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, that's a good topic. We touch on that every now and then. I think.
Yeah, we talked about the toys we had when we were kids.
Yeah. We kind of
The
talk
lawn
about
darts.
That was a fun one.
Jarts.
Jarts. Yeah.
Here, catch this, Uncle Bob.
Not to be confused with a shart.
Funk.
Oh, long. Yeah. The most dangerous toys we played with.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Are we recording yet? What time is it?
Yeah, I've been recording all along. I was trying to get.
Look how dangerous
There they
those
are.
things are.
I had those right there. It was the blue and the
Yeah,
red
you
set
have to wonder
Yeah.
how many kids got maimed with those things.
with the yellow ring.
And an indelible
And of course-
eyeball stuck to one.
And of course, being 10 or 11 doing that, you'd throw them as high as you can.
Of course,
in the air.
completely out of
Straight
control.
up.
And you have no control when you're throwing it that high, and they'll go straight up in the air, and you're like trying to
Yeah, and
eyeball.
people scattering everywhere.
Yes, I mean they're head.
Caused the birth of the consumer protection. No,
I don't know.
that agency that like basically shuts this kind of stuff down.
I don't know, but they shut that shit down.
So Larry was he was sharing that he's got a background in broadcast. Why don't you enlighten
true.
us a little bit?
When I was a teenager, I lived on Okinawa, which is in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was in Iowa.
There's a lot of
Yeah, well, there's
That was sarcasm.
a whole bunch of them.
there's a lot of military there. Although my family at that was not military, we were civilians. My dad was transferred there for his job, but I went to school with the dependents of the military kids, like a regular high school, and me and Rex Colby were trying to figure out a way that we can get out of 5th, 6th, and 7th period. And they had this work study program that you could do. So we signed up for this, and we became interns at the American-run TV and radio station there on the island.
Nice.
That was for there was one Channel 8 TV station that logged on at noon and went off at midnight.
Armed Forces Network.
That's right. And there was one FM station, radio station, and one AM radio station. So they told Rex and I, oh, okay, I guess you guys can be interns in here because we're kind of understaffed. This was during Jimmy Carter era. So defense budgets were cut. So they were really kind of hurting for labor, and we were free.
Right.
Yeah.
So I did that for my junior year, and it was so fun. I mean, we did TV shows, and I mean, kind of by the end of my tenure there, hell, I was directing the 6 o'clock news because
Very cool.
because the guys that were the normal servicemen that were there, and they really weren't that much older than we were. I was 17, and those guys were 25.
Right.
But to me, they were grown men with uniforms and responsible, but they weren't.
And they were happy to have you guys do the jobs, and then what they do just kind of.
They're probably in the back drinking scotch.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was
Right.
thinking.
they
Stogie.
They were dishing on the teenagers.
sit with their feet on the desk somewhere. So that was a lot of fun, and then that sort of inspired me. So when I went to college, I majored in broadcast journalism.
There you go.
Nice.
But nothing after college.
Not having to do with any broadcasting. Couldn't find
Yeah.
a job in it.
That's what
Oh,
because I
Couldn't
went to
find a job.
Yeah, I went to
Disappointing.
school in audio production, radio production, and worked radio and all that stuff. And it's hard to
It's very
find
hard.
it. Find it. It's a very small set of people who actually do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to hit them at the right time, an opening. You have to know someone. It's
And
hard-
you have to
it's-
have the personality.
Well, you do, And I wasn't looking to get on air. I was looking to be behind the scenes production, maybe even doing some voiceovers and shit. But one of my issues when I moved down here is all my demo tapes got ruined. So I'd go into these interviews and they're like, "Yeah, do you have any demos?" And I'd be like, "No,
Not
I
anymore.
don't." Yeah, I was like, they got ruined on the
Yeah.
move down here. So they'd still be nice and they'd meet with me and talk, but nothing ever came of it. So here we are 30 years later doing a podcast. So there's living the dream.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
and this is the pinnacle, I think, of those careers, isn't it?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, home
it's
run, right?
exciting. I tell you, I get giddy every week thinking about coming over here and sitting. It's addicting when you get these headsets on and you're talking, you hear yourself, and just start spewing out stories. I mean, that's what it is. We want to share stories.
Are you
And
passing out beverages, Paul?
Yeah, he's
I
got
am.
got a Miller High Life. You know what? We need to enlighten Larry on what Jeff did. This piece of shit sitting across the table from me. He's having a conversation with his wife, unbeknownst to us, and his wife was like, "These beers, are horrible." And Jeff's like, "We're gonna get rid of those tomorrow. We're gonna get rid of at least 3 of them because we're all 3 gonna have one."
Yeah.
This tastes like watered down fermented grapefruit juice.
Light Sky.
Well, I got them. They're new, and my wife likes Blue Moon, and I thought it was a light version of Blue Moon, but it
Yeah.
is not.
It went bad.
It is
Yeah,
not.
it was a horrible choice.
It does. It says
Citrus wheat.
It says tangerine, but it is
Oh, yeah.
grapefruity.
Yeah, it's
When you're excited to chase whatever you had before with Miller High Life, you know it was bad.
You think Miller High Life is a bad beer?
no.
No, I don't. This is actually my beer. But actually, Miller High Life Light is what I drink. But other people are like, "Wow, God, this is a shit beer." I'm like, "No, it isn't."
It's
Not at all.
refreshing.
Miller High Life is a great beer.
I think so too.
yeah.
I think
I'm
so
not a big
too.
fan of Miller Lite.
I'm not either.
That was hugely popular in the 80s when I was in college, and I drank so much of it back then, I just I got so sick of it.
Wore yourself out. Yeah, I mean, it's generally considered a cheap beer, though. I mean, when you can get a 30-pack for $20, it's it's like Natural Light, it's like Keystone Light. I mean, those are all the
Bush.
yeah.
God, they
Busch
got
Light.
some weird beers coming out too. What is that? The ciders, not the ciders, but the what is the clear? The seltzers.
Seltzers. That's kind of what this one
God,
reminds me of.
Yeah.
man, the seltzers are just.
Not
I mean, that's like, what is the base of a seltzer? Oh, thank you for that sound bite. It's very nice.
Well, it's just I don't know. I don't know how they.
It's coming out of everywhere. I mean, natural natties. Everyone's coming up with their own little seltzer.
Bud Light has them.
I kind of like them.
White Claw.
I got to be honest.
Wow.
I kind of like them.
Not a fan.
You know,
Yeah.
they're refreshing. They're kind of like, for me, it's like if you're
I'd rather
out
have a
mowing the
light
lawn,
beer.
which I'll never do.
It's so
But if
ref-
I were,
It's
that's
so
what I would have.
refreshing. It's so refreshing.
That sounded so natural.
That's what all. That's what all the
Nice try.
all the underage kids like White Claws.
Oh God, do they? That and if you can't afford White Claws, you do the Trulies.
Truly.
Yeah. That's the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're all the same thing though.
Yeah, because it's White Claw this.
But there's
White
two
Claw that.
camps. There's two camps. There's White Claws and Trulies of the
Well, we went
the
to,
younger crowd.
We went to Kroger, hell, it must have been 2 months ago, right? And that lady was standing there with the little samples.
Samplers. Yeah, that
And
was
I
before
was
the
like,
vid.
Let me try this. Let me try that. And I was like,
I think
fuck it. Might as well buy a pack.
Yeah, you bought the.
I felt
variety
so
pack.
guilty.
At Total Wine?
Was it
No,
Kroger?
this was at Kroger.
Oh wow.
That was
okay.
before Corona, where they could still do samples. So.
Yeah, God, man, I'm so sick of freaking Corona, man. I mean, everyone is. I mean, the
Yeah.
people are like, all right, look, if we got to go out, we got to put a mask on. then if you have to put a mask on, then why is it that we just can't go and do things with the mask on?
Yeah, I know. It's the way.
Excuse me.
When I walked into the clubhouse today, I golfed. I golfed earlier today, and I walked into the clubhouse, and the kid behind the desk was like, you could see him getting antsy. He was like, sir, you need to have your mask on. And I was like, oh, yeah, sorry. I'm here for the 10 o'clock. And he literally looked at the other guy, and he goes, here. I mean, how's he going to argue with that?
Yeah,
that's
too bad.
I just pulled my shirt over my face and said, okay,
So what's the
done deal.
Is that cable long enough, Larry?
Yeah.
What's the
fine.
difference between that and wearing a mask?
Nothing.
Like I
The
forgot.
microns that could pass through it.
Absolutely nothing.
I forgot my mask, so I'm going to do this.
There you go. I don't know why. I mean, they can't argue with it.
I want to know about the argument about, if I'm wearing a mask and I can smell a fart, does that mean that the farts are, what's bigger, a fart or Corona?
Man, that's a tough question.
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
how many
that's-
microns? Because I thought it was like 1.4 microns for the coronavirus. Because
Fart microns or molecules.
yeah,
Well, if I could interject here, I would say that your farts are probably logarithmically more lethal than the coronavirus.
yeah, but we're talking about
Oh, just
The girth.
particle size.
It's like a meatball
Yeah.
in
girth.
your mask.
Really, the girth
My
of
farts
your
are-
fart particles.
my farts are the chodes of
You know, poor Larry. Poor Larry's going to have to get introduced to all sorts of terms
I have
that he
a,
never want to know.
I have a Corona mask story for you. This didn't happen to me. It was told to me by a lawyer guy that I'm doing some business with at work. And this was probably about 6 weeks ago. So in the heyday of all the COVID stuff, he had to go to California for business for something. So he did his thing, and he's on the way back, and he's sitting in the Santa Clara, California airport,
Mhm.
waiting to get on the plane to come back home. And he's not wearing a mask.
Right.
This woman comes up to him and says, isn't she some health county official, somebody? She walks up to him and she says, sir, you have to have a mask on. He goes, no, I don't. She says, yes, you do. So she gets a little aggravated and she leaves and she goes and gets a cop.
Oh,
Wow.
insane.
The cop comes over.
Like
And,
that. Like that's what he wants to deal with, right?
Exactly. I'm sure the cop is probably like,
Like, seriously. Yeah.
Sir,
Can you just
what-
put a mask on, please?
sir,
Yeah.
what's the problem here? You know?
Yeah. Put your shirt over your mouth.
So the woman points to my friend and she's telling the cop, this person. And he was telling me that she was careful to say this person, not this man or him, because in California, it is against the law to use a
pronoun.
sex-specific pronoun.
That's right. A gender
Oh, I
gender
would not
pronoun.
make
That
it
is
California.
retarded, yeah.
I would not
It's
last.
against the law.
This country is doomed. You know that.
Yeah,
Right?
well, if we follow California's lead,
Shit.
So anyway, she says this person is refusing to wear a mask. So the cop's like, sir, can you just put a mask on? So this guy's a lawyer, right? So he starts spouting off like, there's case law in Santa Clara County that
Oh,
says that
boy.
I don't have to wear a mask. And as a matter of fact, there's law in this state that I could strip down totally naked right now and run around in this airport, and there's not a damn thing you could do about it. And the cop looks at the lady, got all kind of pissed off. So he gets on the Southwest flight, flies to Love Field, gets off the plane, and him and the rest of the passengers are met by DPS officers. And they told all the passengers, since you're coming from whatever the hotspot states were at that time, like
Right.
New York, California,
California, Washington.
Louisiana was a hotspot, wasn't it?
I know
Yes, it
Washington-
was, yes.
Washington was.
So the DPS guys are saying, everybody coming in from California, you have to sign this form that you agree to self-quarantine for 14 days since you're coming back from California.
Mm.
Well, of course, this guy, if you haven't figured out yet, he's a bit of a smart ass because he's a lawyer, right?
right?
So he looks at the DPS guy and he goes, what is this? He goes, yeah, you have to sign this form, 14-day quarantine. He goes, what if I don't sign it? And the DPS officer goes, sir, if you don't sign this for volunteering to quarantine for 14 days, I will quarantine you for 14 days, and I can assure you, you will not like the accommodations. So he goes, okay, I'll sign it. So he signs it. From home, he said that was on a Wednesday. So show up at his house from the county or somewhere
To verify?
to see if he answers the door. He's like, yeah. And they go, yeah, we're just verifying that you're quarantining for 14 days and we're from the county or whatever they were.
And we're paying people to do this?
3 of them at
Yeah,
this
like
one
what-
guy's house.
Yeah, like one's not enough.
Well, there's going
they-
to be a social worker.
Unbelievable.
So he goes, well, here I am. You see me. And they go, okay, we're going to have to take your temperature. And we have a few questions for you. Have you felt okay? Have you had a fever? He goes, look,
I would have pulled my pants down and looked out the rectal thermometer.
Yeah.
You're not-
Shut up the red
Bend
eye.
over.
you're not taking my temperature, and I'm not signing anything, and you're not asking me any questions. Get the hell, get the hell off of my porch. So they finally just went, me, okay. And they left.
Well,
The whole thing's a joke.
It is.
They don't have any authority to do anything. And by the way, if you read Governor Abbott's, list of rules about who has to wear a mask and who doesn't, if you have respiratory issues, you don't have to wear one.
Oh,
So you can just say, I've been dealing with, I've been struggling with
allergies.
breathing and I have respiratory issues. I mean, really? What are they going to do? They're going to ask now to go into your health records and see if you've gone to your doctor about a respiratory issue?
Well, that's a HIPAA
This whole thing's
violation.
total BS.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, you know, I'm going to steer us in a. I mean, what are you talking like? Like it's all made up?
No, I just think the government doesn't know exactly what to do.
Yeah, I agree.
They don't know what to do, and they're overstepping their bounds left and right in terms of legal authority, and everybody's trying to participate because they want to be good citizens, right? They don't want to further the spread and make things worse than they could
Man,
be, and they don't want to prolong the lockdown, right? Everybody's trying to, but the bottom line is the government state governments for sure, they're really worried about screwing up their response to it and somehow losing power.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
I've thought about this. What do you-
uncharted territory.
What do you guys think of this idea? Again, we're pretty much all about from the same generation. I think it would have gone something like the government would have come out and said, okay, citizens, we have identified this virus that seems to be sweeping the globe, and it looks pretty bad, okay? And some of y'all are going to get kind of sick. Some of y'all is going to die, okay? But we just thought we'd let you know. So drink plenty of fluids and take care of yourself, and we'll check back with you later. And I think the population in 1980 would have been completely satisfied with that. But now the mindset is with handout, government, there's a problem. Come help me. Come help
Yeah,
me.
this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Money going out the door. Oh my gosh, I don't know how we're going to pay for it. You know?
Well, I know Preston was asking Stephen if they were going to get a handout,
From
the
who?
government, because now they're 18
Excited.
and they don't have a job.
Well, you know what? Look, in all fairness, if it's available to them, take advantage of
Well, I
it.
told him no. I was like, no, they're not.
Dude, that's bullshit, man.
I want my $1,800.
I'm going to go tear down Abraham Lincoln.
So
I mean,
I agree. I think if this happened in 1980, 40 years ago, this wouldn't have happened.
Because this is uncharted territory, and they know. I say they. I'm going to say the conspiracy of the left wing throwing stones at us, trying to see trying to see if Trump can handle the stress of what's going on, and they're going to scrutinize him the entire way. And they've got one thing. The TikTok app that's coming out.
mhm.
That's out, where there was like 1 billion people downloaded it in the last 6
It's
months.
Chinese espionage. Yeah, continue.
Hey, look. So
I still
here's the
enjoy
thing. Here's the thing. Is it really?
It is.
But what are they taking?
Everything on your phone.
Like Facebook can? Like Twitter can? Like Snapchat can? Okay, let me share. Okay, I don't care about TikTok that much. It's entertaining. I like watching those little snippets of videos going, just flagging them one after another because they're interesting. It's people watching from my phone.
I agree.
And there's a lot of fun shit on there. And there's a lot of boobies. And there's, hey, look, I'm shooting straight. But you know what's on there that they don't like? Trump supporters.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There are, if you were, I don't know how to create a ratio of all the videos they put on there, but let's just say all the political videos they have on there, I'd say 95% of them are right wing. And they can't stand it.
Oh, I bet.
They want to get rid of it because 1 billion people downloaded that app. and there are people watching the
Who-
riots.
Who's wanting to get rid of TikTok? You're saying
Well, probably the
Well,
media, the liberals.
The Congress is talking about it.
yeah,
know,
Well, they
I
can't
thought,
control the
dude,
narrative.
I thought it was the conservatives that are trying to get rid of TikTok, not the liberals.
I don't know. I don't know who's
I'm
trying to get
just
rid of it.
reading between the lines. I'm not, and I don't think it is the conservatives. It's the left wing that's trying to push this whole thing, and they're using, and this is tough because you got, and it's not like Huawei's got an infrastructure that is going to do it. Huawei has the infrastructure that, if told by the great one to, hey, look, you need to go in there and infiltrate XYZ,
They can.
then that's what they got to do, because the great one said, I got to do it, and I got to do it because I'm in a communist country.
Right.
So that's why we don't trust Huawei. It's not because that they're doing it. It's because they have the ability to do it. And what does TikTok have that Facebook doesn't have? That's the problem I've got. I don't care.
Well, but okay, I'm not denying that Facebook and Google and Yahoo, they're collecting data for sure, but those are not Chinese companies. TikTok, everything that happens on TikTok is being downloaded onto Chinese servers
There
in
are
China.
so many Chinese things
Well,
that have the
I don't-
ability to infiltrate our phones that we legitimately download, and you're downloading it, and you got to hit yes. You're
Yeah.
like, fuck, you're not reading that fine print.
Yeah, but I don't know if those are Chinese apps. I don't know. I don't know if they are. I'm not saying they aren't. But I
Think
know for
about
a
it.
fact that TikTok has been clearly identified as a security risk.
Well, yeah, but like Zoom.
Zoom has as well. Zoom's a Chinese company as well.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yes, and this has been a topic of discussion too. And
Yeah.
Zoom is used, profoundly through businesses. Big infrastructures use Zoom to conduct their
To me,
meetings.
that's a bigger threat than TikTok
Yeah,
is.
people have
I mean-
hacked that. You've seen the footage where there's a classroom. My wife uses it
Oh,
when
yeah.
she does classrooms, right? All of a sudden, some guy will pop up and start spouting off a bunch of crap because he hacked the class, right?
Something being hacked.
You know?
I would want to do that.
Yeah, I would too. Man. And you know what else? Well, the things I would do.
Ask the
get into
teacher
all
some
of
really
them.
stupid questions. She's like, "Who are you? What student?" Just ask some obtuse question of the teacher.
Hello, Mrs. Johnson.
Who said that?
Dad.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eric Wan is the CEO of Zoom. In a blog post, he stresses that Zoom is an American company founded and headquartered in California, incorporated in Delaware. He is tired of being the rumors that it is a Chinese company
Okay, well that's
with
good. Then.
with any allegations of links to the
Interesting.
communist state.
Yeah, because I saw stories that it was. So that's good. If it was fake,
Yeah, I had not heard that because I can promise you, if that were the case, there is no way. I mean, we're talking about highly sensitive company
right.
information being shared on Zoom each and every day, all day long.
But that still does
For the
not.
Business Insider.
That still does not take away the fact that it is highly hackable.
Well, yeah, well, sure. I mean, that's just fun, like you were saying.
Yes.
So
That'd be
the
fun to
Business
do.
Insider, foreign intelligence agents, Chinese spying. Let me get this stupid advertisement out of here. Agents using online platforms and video conferencing apps to spy on Americans. So
Yeah, hacking into Zoom is different than Zoom downloading our information and storing it on
Sure.
Chinese servers.
Chinese
I'm just
spies
saying.
in particular have exploited the coronavirus pandemic to get information about Americans, blah, blah, blah. The video conferencing app Zoom has proven particularly susceptible to cyber intrusions because of its popularities. All right, so it doesn't say that it's from China, and it doesn't
so maybe
say
it's the Chinese hacking. Maybe that's what it's doing.
Yeah.
You have Chinese companies that are hacking into the
There you go.
meetings.
Oh,
They're called
we're
Zoom
under constant-
bombers is what they're called.
Yep.
Zoom bombers.
Zoom
Yeah.
bombers.
That's
nice.
a word. It's going to be in
It's going to be the word
the
of the year.
dictionary, Webster's dictionary next year's Zoom bombers. One word.
So they always do the word of the year. What do you think it's going to be this year?
Corona.
Corona or pandemic?
It's
or
going to be CHOP.
chop.
Chaz.
Chaz.
CHOP or Chaz. It's going to be autonomous zone.
God.
Mask.
I don't know. What's the
That's a good question.
hell, man? I think that's more popular than the Person of the Year from Time Magazine.
that they've ruined that because they did
Ah.
Greta Thunberg,
Oh,
That's so retarded.
who is,
mm.
you know,
Who's Greta Thunberg?
she's that 15-year-old.
I am.
Oh, her. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so jealous that you don't know who that is.
Yeah.
I
know who
wish.
it
Oh,
is.
you know. Okay, never
Shame
mind.
on you, or whatever the hell she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's 14 years old, and she claims that, oh, she's the one that's like, has these beliefs, and she's been spoon-fed.
There,
She's
well,
being spoon-fed by her father.
Larry.
This greatness. Well, the best
How
best
dare you?
the best story about Greta is she refuses to fly. Okay,
That's a great story.
so she gets on a boat and she's headed to some environmental conference that's in Chile. Okay, and it takes a while to get to Chile from where she is. Right, by the time she arrives in Chile, the conference was moved or canceled. Yes, and so now Greta and whatever people were with her were like, yeah, we need help getting home. It was great.
So they flew home.
No, I don't think they did. I think she was asking. She didn't want to be a hypocrite, and I think she was looking for somebody to help
I'll give her credit for that.
float her home.
But
But I don't know if she ended up
float her
flying or not.
home.
Yeah, float home.
Oh, it's that top one with the pink where she's screaming at you.
I never watched it.
How dare you?
It was all about global warming and things like
Yeah.
that. That's what it was.
Yes. How dare you ruin our youth because you're pigs?
It's
is
such a
basically what it
joke.
was. How dare you?
It's such a joke.
She's 17. She's younger than the boys.
I don't see that there's any need to worry about it because the world is going to end in 12 years anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect response.
According to AOC, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're done in 12
I
years.
thought it already did end.
Well,
multiple
I think
times.
Al Gore said we're done in 10 years, right? That was 15 years ago.
I think so.
Maybe. All right, so let's see. What other topics do we have? Do we want to talk about that? Would you say her name? Ghislaine Maxwell?
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine?
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine Maxwell. Yeah, she's what I find fascinating is she was been hiding out in Connecticut, I believe it was,
Okay,
or Vermont or something like that, on a farm,
right.
and they couldn't find her for some reason.
Oh, yeah, and apparently she is very good at evading. Like, she's able to go under the radar, and she's got the resources to do it.
Yeah, I read that it was today. I think I saw that they found her phone wrapped in tinfoil, so they couldn't track it.
Yes. Yeah, they found her phone. Okay, so the context of all this is now that she's been arrested, they believe she's a flight risk.
Oh yeah, hell yes she is.
Yeah, huge flight risk.
After she bought that huge ass mansion?
Well, they're just saying that it's not safe to let her go out on bail. Okay, and part of the reasoning behind
Ghislaine
it
Maxwell.
was that when the FBI came to arrest her, they found her phone wrapped in tinfoil.
Does that work?
That was my question. I was like, you know what? Fast forward through all this other stuff. Can you wrap your telephone, your cell phone in tinfoil, and you can't? The signal gets.
Well, they make those Faraday cages that you can put your phones in. You sell them. Stick it in a bag. It's a Faraday cage.
What are you saying? Faraday?
Yes, Faraday cage.
I've never even heard of that.
You've never heard of that.
No.
Look up Faraday cage, Mr. Producer. FARA. Faraday cage.
Faraday case.
There you go. No, not
Cage.
the underwear.
The EMF proof trunks.
Oh. No, those
Electromagnetic frequency proof trunks.
are
Yeah.
stylish.
Keeps your
though.
pee from getting
Those are very
cancer.
stylish.
Proof.
But the moment you have to pee, all that irradiation it goes in there.
No.
But it blocks everything.
And that's crazy. But that's not tinfoil.
No. Yeah, I don't know if tinfoil works.
I don't think it would.
I don't think
It
so.
seems
either.
like you're if you're in your car. I guess there's windows, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a steel roof over you.
You said tinfoil, but you mean aluminum, right?
No, it was wrapped in tinfoil.
No, it's aluminium.
Aluminum.
Yes,
Aluminium.
aluminum foil. That's right.
Aluminum. So is it a common aluminum foil is made out of a combination of tin and foil or aluminum?
Nickel.
It is aluminum.
Isn't it nickel?
Aluminum foil.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to get gauged on why it would refract frequencies.
But I don't think it does.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Let's try it.
clearly
Huh.
it doesn't because they arrested her.
Do you have any tinfoil in the house?
I have aluminium foil.
Aluminum.
Somebody
No.
wrap their phone, and then somebody else try to call the phone and see if it rings.
Yeah, careful, it'll spontaneously
So back
combust.
in the day, was
Phone's overheated.
it actually was tin foil and aluminum foil two different things back when we were growing up? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Because I called it tin foil, but was it actually made out of something different than it is today?
I don't
When
know.
you look on the box, it says aluminum foil.
There you go. Tin foil is stiffer than aluminum foil.
It's more excited.
Yeah, well,
Give it
Wow.
a slight tin taste.
because it's
food.
usually going to receive some meat.
Oh, nice. Wow, this went bad in a hurry.
So the first audio recordings
so
on
the-
a
yeah, so-
phonograph cylinders are made on tin foil.
So
Correct.
okay, so it was largely replaced by aluminum foil. So
Correct.
yeah,
Huh.
Because of the flavor. It gave it a flavor.
Oh yeah, I wonder if that tin caused cancer agents to manifest inside the
Kind of
food.
leached
a
out.
slight tin taste.
Kind of like
Gotcha.
beer cans and
Kind of metallic.
get that slight plastic.
You know, there's
The
a plastic
insert.
lining in.
We've already covered this. We had a debate about bottles versus cans, and apparently there is some plastic insert that when you, what do you do to the can to make it do that? You had to bleach it in acid for all the.
It's like you expose it to as a muriatic acid, and the aluminum outside the can will dissolve, leaving the plastic condom that is
basically.
inside the can. Just leaves it.
Yeah.
So it's
Nice.
still. They take a Coke or whatever,
Kind of gross.
put it in this chemical, and it dissolves all the metal around the can, and you're left with a
Sack.
sack. Nice little
plastic.
scrotum of cola.
Yes.
So I bet you they do that because you got to adhere the metal to something, right? When they're forming the cans,
I
obviously.
think it has to do with
It's-
freshness.
Well, it has to do with the corrosion of the metal. When
I think it has to do with the taste of
I think
probably
whether
both.
it's a can of beans or a can of beer. They have to have that.
Corrosion is
coating
the
inside.
primary reason, because it will oxidize, and it what is when you damage a can,
yeah, there
you
it is right
get
there.
block. God bless it. What is the name of it? When you get a crushed can, you don't buy it because you may get this sickness.
Block.
Well, no, there you go. There. Okay. So it's not. There's not.
botulism. That's what I was thinking.
There's not metal on both sides of the plastic. The plastic is on the inside of the can,
Correct.
Yeah.
and that's the barrier between the product and the metal. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all
it's
right.
to protect it from.
Probably because the Coke would eat the aluminum.
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
all the chemicals will.
Right.
Yeah. There
Because
you
of
go.
that. Because it's got acid in it.
Then the preservatives.
Now the can, like a can of beans or green beans or any of that stuff, that's a different type of can. That's
That's not aluminum.
not aluminum.
Plus, those are still
What is that
lined.
made out
That
of?
must be tin.
Tin.
A tin can.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
It's made out of strontium.
Chromium.
What the hell is that?
Titanium,
Strontium?
chromium,
Strontium? What is that? Like
alloy.
Cliff Clavinism you're just spewing over there?
Periodic table.
I seem to recall out of the bowels of my brain an episode of how it's made, of canning beans and corn and things
Okay.
like this. And I thought they sprayed some kind of
There.
like a
See.
lacquer or a shellac or something on the inside of the can to prevent can flavor from getting into the food.
Yes, it's lined with something.
Ugh.
Okay.
How they keep that from getting into the food?
That I don't know.
Plutonium.
See, there's some things we don't want to know. Like that's why I won't watch the documentary Food. Is it called Food?
It's that stuff that makes our gut swell.
What is-
MSG.
We ingest it, and it only goes here. Goes in our stomach, and it's like it makes the whole this cavity just like
Well, that's just eating. That's called eating shit.
Like
all the time.
yeast.
yeah.
Too many
Yes.
yeast rules.
Oh man, this COVID-19 is making me even more fat. And I know we don't have an excuse because we can log onto the website, we can go to the gym.
I did.
We
Fuck
can do all
off.
sorts of stuff.
Fuck
run- we-
off.
yeah, we
Okay?
can
I
run
had to
a-
go to a funeral. All right. You
It's no
freaking
excuse.
and then when you went to the gym once.
You could have done push-ups while you were there.
There you go. There really is no excuse. I mean, for all of us.
Oh.
No. I got the COVID-19 too, dude. I got easily 19 pounds out of this the last 3 or 4 months.
19.
Yeah, I was down
Oh.
to 193, and now I'm well over 210.
When
Oh.
all the restaurants were closed, did you guys do a lot of takeout or did you do a lot more
No.
cooking at home?
We just cooked at home,
Yeah.
Yeah, so did
and,
we.
and we've
Yeah.
kind of stuck with that. You know, Sean and I have gotten into sous vide. I'm sure Paul loves this topic. Getting into sous vide. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Have I shared with you? I think I have, right?
This heat the meat in the water thing?
Yes.
Boil the food.
It is tremendous.
Really? It sounds retarded.
It's hit and miss.
Oh, it's super.
does.
What do you mean? No,
It's hit and miss.
No,
No,
no.
the hamburgers were kind of a mess.
Actually, those were pretty good, I thought.
I thought they were too, but I was just.
Well, I know some people didn't like them.
Well, she was scared. She was going,
True.
please don't. I'm just scared. I'm going to get. Who was that?
was?
Liz.
Yeah, who was? Oh,
That
that
was
was
Liz.
Liz.
Liz. Yeah,
She-
because she was concerned that we were going to get E. coli or something. It wasn't going to cook it out.
Well, but you know what? She later, she was like, when she saw it and she realized kind of, yeah, she was fine.
No,
I thought they tasted fantastic.
They did. They were good.
It tasted like a little
meatloaf.
tender meatloaf. It was. It
And,
was.
and a lot of the
fantastic.
fine steakhouses, that's how they cook their steaks.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's exactly how they cook it. You want a steak medium rare? Guess what? They can cook that steak for 10 hours at 135 degrees ish, and it'll be medium rare. And that's the temperature. I mean, if you want a medium well, raise it up to 140. And when you order your steak, what would you like? Medium rare? No problem. It'll be right back. It'll be right out. And the longer it's in that thing, the better it's going to taste.
They pull it out and they put it on a hot ass. They put it in their little sear machine.
Yep. Sear it.
Done. Put their little butter on it.
Please and thank you. That is an Indian American
No.
pale ale. You want something a little bit lighter? High Life?
That'd be great.
Why don't you pass them over there? We also have some Estelle.
Well, this isn't
No, Stella.
light. This is just Miller.
Whatever.
Stella.
Miller High Life, man.
Yeah, the sous vide, we really got into. Still am. I did it last night, as a matter of fact. I made a couple chicken breasts, and they look nasty as hell when you first pull them out, and then you put them on a pan, you sear it, perfectly done.
Yeah, because you vacuum pack them first, and when you vacuum pack them, they've got that depending on
Nice.
on the bag that you got. They've got the little grid cross.
Oh yeah.
So when
Got
you
the char
suck
marks.
it adheres to the chicken. So when you cut the bag open, you release it. Of course, Jeff does his a little bit different. His, I think, ultimately probably tastes better. Mine tastes almost as good, but mine's ready to go. So
Yeah, his is quicker than mine.
yeah. So basically, what I do is like when I do a pork loin, I take the entire pork loin, this freaking 3-foot monstrosity,
Big horse penis.
season the shit out of it, stuff it in one of those little bags,
Yeah.
suck it until it's all suck the air out of it,
Wow.
seal it down. And of all things, I put it in my kitchen sink. I put it in my kitchen sink, and I take my sous vide and clamp it into the metal little bar, the center bar,
Right.
and I put that thing on 140 degrees. And I usually do it, I try to do it as late as possible. Early as possible or late as possible. Either I wake up at 2 a.m, I take it out, or I put it in and let it cook for like 6 hours. And
But
then
you recently did one. Did you put those all in the freezer?
I've done like 6. And
But you have one like that that's like still out there, right?
well, no,
Or did you eat it?
they're okay. So the one I just did was in the refrigerator. So let me finish with the process. So I cook it in the sink, and then I take it out when it's done cooking. Usually, hopefully, about 6 hours. I take it, I put it in the fridge, and straighten it all out so it gets all nice and stiff, and let it
Firm.
sit in there for 2 days ish, and then I take
Right.
it out of the fridge, open the bag up, I stick it in, wash it off, get all the jelly.
Yeah.
Jelly. I'm waiting for you to I get all the jelly and the crap off, the nasty shit.
From Paul's
And then
ass.
I slice it. And it's like little
What?
half-inch slices all the way down. And I lay them all out, and I put them in smaller bags.
Yeah. Reseal them.
Yeah, put them in smaller bags, reseal it, and I'm telling you, they're cooked. They're ready to go. So for lunch, I don't have to sit there and fuck around. I just basically take a skillet
And just
and
pan
I
fry it.
sear it.
Yeah.
And it's probably a minute on each side, and I put it in the microwave for another 30 seconds, and it's done. I can add whatever flavor I want. It's already pre-seasoned. It's got a good base to it. The kids love it
nice.
because it's ready to go. Jeff does his different. Jeff, why don't you explain how you make yours?
Well, I do mine. I keep them. I keep it raw, so I do it to order, right? And I think that's probably. I think they turn out probably a little bit juicier. So I vacuum all the meat raw, and I'll season it, and I'll stick it in the freezer. So when we want chicken, I pulled it out, thawed it, and I just throw it in there, cooks for a couple hours in the sous vide, then I pull it out, and I just sear it, done. And then we eat it for that night. So it takes a little bit longer. They're not as instant meals like Sean's.
Instant meals, yeah.
But I think the quality, like the chicken, I think is probably moister than if you reheat it.
Yeah, but that's also a learning curve too, because I've learned that if I take it out of the freezer and I boil it, when you boil it, it actually makes it drier.
Because you keep cooking it.
Yeah. So what you do is you take it out of the freezer and you just set it there, let it get to room temperature, and then just throw it in the skillet. Don't boil it. I mean, that was the mistake I was making. All right, this is probably boring the shit out of Larry.
Can somebody pass me the revolver so I can shoot myself?
Well, hey, when you're done with it, can you give it to me?
Yes.
God.
All right. Well, so anyways, COVID-19, the whole thing. We've been doing this.
You asked the question.
Yeah. So we as far as eating healthier, I mean, you wouldn't think it. God bless. But I'm thinking, if we weren't eating this healthy, I'm thinking I'd be 2 times bigger. I don't eat that bad. I don't. I mean, it's just like a couple times a week, I'll have a burger. And I think it's mostly the booze.
That'll do it to you.
It's booze.
I tell you
and
what,
beer.
the whole nation. I think I would be interested to know what the alcohol sales increase is for in the United
Yeah,
States.
I think that's one
I
industry
bet
that's
you
doing well.
it's got to be up big time. I think people are drinking
Because they're
way-
bored.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and they're stressed out, right? I mean, a lot of people
Sure.
drink to just escape the stress and the the uncertainty and the craziness that's going on in the news and all that kind of shit, right? I think people are drinking like way more than they did before.
38.6.
That's the percent increase in sales.
Yep. Sales rose by 38.6.
That's a
Wow.
lot.
That's pretty
That's a
impressive.
lot.
Tremendous.
That tells you what you need to know right there. That's crazy. Because I tell you, I'm drinking way more.
Do you guys, with your wives or family, non-COVID time, do y'all eat out a lot, seldom, every now and then?
Like before
What?
COVID hit, you mean?
Yeah.
Nah, we've never been a big eat out family.
My wife likes to eat out. I don't. She orders a lot of food for delivery. Let's put it that way. I'm more of a home cooker. I'd like to cook food, but she loves ordering food.
Like DoorDash or
Yeah, something like that.
Or
Joe's
Sean Dash.
or Sean Dash.
Sean Dash.
Yeah,
I've not heard of that company.
it's not uncommon for me to go up to Macaroni Grill and slam down 2 bourbons while waiting for an order.
Well, no wonder your family meals cost so much.
Ah, well, it's,
Yeah, you're burning $20 in booze
booze.
while you're waiting.
Right.
no, the secret is to go before the happy hour program ends. They've got a
Oh.
fantastic deal on their well bourbon.
Really?
Jack Daniels
Nice.
for their well.
At Macaroni Grill.
Macaroni Grill. Own it
Who knew? Very nice.
before 7.
Okay.
Sometimes you can have a shrimp parfait.
So you get there at 2?
Shrimp parfait.
Yeah, if you play your cards right, you can order a shrimp parfait. It's included
Is
in the
that like
happy
a
hour program.
dessert? Shrimp parfait?
It's like a little shrimp cocktail thing,
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly what it is.
Oh,
It's diced.
cocktail.
It's cocktail sauce, diced
Not a
up tomato.
parfait.
Oh, that's what shrimp parfait.
Sounds
I
like
think
you've
that's
done this
incorrect.
a couple or hundreds of times.
I've
Hmm.
done it.
It's $8.99
Interesting.
during happy hour.
Yeah.
We usually go out to eat probably maybe twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, once during the week or something like that. But man, when the COVID thing hit and everything was shut down, my wife and I were shocked at ourselves on how much we rely on going out to eat as our entertainment.
Yeah, people
Right.
watching and
Yeah.
the whole experience.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, you get one or two other couples, and you go out to dinner someplace, have a few drinks, yuck it up a little bit. Well, that was all over.
Yeah.
That was all done. Like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
beat
You know
the
what you
shit
do
out of
now? You drink.
Netflix.
You drink.
I'm telling you. I mean, this all feeds into it. When
And then we would do the takeout stuff, like from restaurant, like Sean was talking about Macaroni Grill or Chili's or whatever else.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just not the same. It's
I agree.
yeah.
It's not.
you got it in this styrofoam thing. By the
Yeah.
time you get home, it's cold, and
It's a deal
you know,
breaker.
It's just yeah.
We just had
I
this
agree.
discussion. French fries.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. If I have a choice, but you know what? My wife likes it. It's all that matters.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And
There
the
you
end
go.
result's the same. You're full.
Yeah, but I'm with you though. I mean, it's getting out of the house.
Sure.
It's being in a restaurant. I mean, the food is not like amazing. That's not why you know what I mean.
It's something to do. It's to go someplace
That's
and
right.
see other human beings. Even now with the what is it now? 50% capacity? Is that what
Right.
the rule is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's going back and forth, you know.
Yeah, no.
Even now with kind of sparse seating in the rest, it's kind of like weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. The essence of it's so clinical. You know, it just
Not to
the
mention,
rustle bustle's different.
not to mention your waiters and waitresses all have these
Oh, have a
things
mask
over
on.
their mask, and
Yeah.
you can't understand what the hell they're saying.
Yeah.
My
and they're
son-
bitter.
well, they are.
They're bitter. Hey, look, we went to go eat at Austin. Where'd we go? The original Pancake House. My wife's grandmother had passed away, and the great Mimi.
So you went out to eat
After the service,
after the funeral. Okay.
yeah, because they were gonna have it's kind of difficult to bring all the family members in to have a big family feast. So we just we were on our way home from Irving, and we were like, because this is the first time we had all my kids in the same vehicle
Oh yeah.
for such a long time. My Madeline was with us. It
'Cause
was,
they've left the nest.
It
Yeah.
was crazy, and I was like, let's go. No, we're gonna go eat, because they were kind of like, yeah, I know, yeah, shut up. You guys are all in the fucking car. We're all going to go eat because this is not going to happen again
Right.
for a very long time. So we went to go eat at the original Pancake House, and the service was good, but you could tell there was an air of disgust with her.
that
You
you
know-
were there eating.
No, that she's just bitter with life because she doesn't know what's going to happen from day to day. She's happy she has a job, but it's just like, and we ended up tipping her a lot
Yeah.
for
Good.
what she did, because it's got to be tough for them. I'm very thankful that both my wife and I have essential jobs, and we're both busy as shit, and we're making money. But these other people, I feel bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's horrible thing that they're having to go through.
Yeah, everybody's on edge, man. Everybody's on edge with everything that's going on. They're sick of COVID. They're sick of the lockdown thing. They're sick of the unrest. There's a lot of shit going on right now.
Man, if these schools don't open up come fall,
I'm telling you.
oh my God,
Yeah.
Oh Lord,
it's
have
going to be
mercy.
mayhem.
And my wife's a teacher, and they still don't know what they're going to do. They haven't made the official announcement if they're going to be in class or a mix of in class, remote, or all
Yep.
remote. They still don't know yet.
Yeah, I read a story that today. One of the big school districts in California said that when they did the full online, they finished the school year online. They said it was complete failure,
Oh, I believe it.
100% failure. Like in terms of what the kids learned, how well the teachers did in teaching. I mean, it absolutely did not work. And I believe it. I believe
No,
it.
I believe it.
I mean, my kids finished school and they didn't do shit.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. Stephen
They didn't do anything.
is a senior. Preston's a senior. His son's a senior. And they didn't do crap
No, they didn't do
the
anything.
last 6 weeks.
And the teachers couldn't have cared less.
Mm-mm.
But to be honest, well, to be fair,
To be fair.
that was gay.
You
So
watch
Yeah, a little
Letterkenny?
bit.
Who?
Letterkenny.
Larry's mortified right now. He's kind of
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck did
He-
I get myself into?"
No, he's just thinking one and done.
Right.
Um, yeah, if I had a nickel. So, what was I saying?
You said to be fair, and then we started singing.
No,
And before that, we were talking about school, about how the seniors didn't do shit.
the
Yes.
seniors don't do shit anyways. The last semester, okay.
that
very
drives
true.
me
So-
nuts.
That's very
That drives
true.
me nuts.
When I was a senior, when we were seniors, you went to school. You had a full load.
Until the last
There was-
fucking day.
There was none of this shit. You worked your ass off all 6 periods, 8 periods, however many periods you had, until the end of the school year. And when the end of the school year was done, you were done. Okay, now the last 6 months,
Yeah.
It's a cakewalk. They're like, I get to sleep in until 10. I go to one class and then I leave for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
That is bullshit.
Yep.
I
Why are
remember.
we're grooming
Yeah.
our kids for failure.
I don't understand that because when we went to high school, if you had modified school hours, it was because you got a hardship and you were able to
Yeah,
go
you had
leave
to
school
work.
early to go work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I've bitched so much to my wife about this that they don't have finals. There's no finals, right?
Like
There's
ever,
no
or just
preparation
the
for
seniors?
college.
no, there's no finals.
For the seniors or
For the
any of
se-
them?
None of that. Every class, the boys did not have finals. They have the STAR test.
I think this is a conspiracy to dumb the kids down in the United States, period. I think it is.
And
Well,
it-
so
it-
China can
it-
take us over.
I don't know. I don't know where it's coming from. It's just a fact that
Our
I'm not talking about the
educational-
conspiracy. I'm talking about it's just a fact that the kids are getting
less
stupid.
educated.
They're getting less educated, and it's just the quality of the stuff that it's just they're not teaching them. They
I
don't know about a
Right.
lot of things.
A lot of things.
They don't know about the history of the United States.
I know. It's unbelievable.
You know, tearing down. They don't know the statues they're tearing down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's embarrassing, and we don't know about contemporary world affairs. And you know, when you hear some of the interviews of some of the children or the teenagers in some of the other countries, and they bring up a particular subject like the Tonight Show, they'll interview people and they'll ask them questions about contemporary world affairs to see
Right.
if they know how to answer the question
They have
correctly.
No clue.
And they get some European person on there that speaks English, and they're kind of like, "Yeah, I wasn't taught here in the United States. That's why I know the answer." And they kind of walked off with their nose snubbed up in the air, and rightfully so,
Rightfully
because
so.
our system is failing. And I
Public-
wanna
the
know-
public school system
I
is,
want to
is a
know
failure.
why. I want to know who's making these decisions. And you know, I've got some personal feelings about it, and I think it's some conspiracy, deep seated shit that there's some sort of entity that's trying to keep us dumb.
I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that.
it's almost to the point where I'd almost like to run for school board to try to make changes.
Wow.
You know, my kids are out of school, but seniors should not have the cakewalk that they have.
No, they should be busting their butt.
Yeah, that's not making them ready for college. That's for sure.
No,
It's not
because
making them ready for life.
I know Brandon, my oldest, he's gone a couple years in college now. He was completely surprised at the whole final concept, taking a final exam.
Oh, when he actually got to SFA.
Yeah, he goes, "Dad, they're going to test me over the whole quarter." I was like, "Yes." Why do you
How's
think-
that fair?
Yeah. Why do you
How can I
think
remember all this?
You don't
It's
remember-
impossible.
But I'm white.
I've got privilege? And I was like,
Don't they understand?
You don't remember me complaining about how it does not have finals? And
Yeah.
and he struggled. He had to figure it out. He's like, I have to study 3 days for one exam. I'm like,
Yeah, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, that's how it is.
He's like, well, that sucks. I was like, yes, it does.
You know what I tell my boys? I was like, you putting forth any sort of effort gives you a total leg up on your peers.
Yeah.
Total. It's true.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
all.
My youngest daughter just graduated from high school. We're in Carrollton Farmers Branch Independent School District, which is now a ghetto.
Right.
The hood.
Carrollton is?
Yes.
No, yeah. It's
So her junior and senior year, we pulled her out of the public school and we put her in a private school. And she had finals and she had stuff to do with all this goofy online stuff until the bitter end. But,
Right.
I mean,
That was private school, though, right?
she had it, yeah.
Well, and there's your difference. Public schools failing our kids.
Yeah.
Totally.
It absolutely drives me nuts. I've bitched to my wife so many times. She doesn't want to hear it anymore. You know?
Well,
Well,
she's part. I mean,
They hit.
she's a teacher.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. So I mean, but in a public school.
Correct.
yeah, but she doesn't pick the
No. I'm not saying she's part of the problem. I'm saying, I mean, she's got to be passionate about it, but maybe she's kind of worn out. Like from what I understand, all the teachers are kind of beaten down.
No, she does things a little bit differently where she holds the students more accountable. And she's allowed to do that because of where she's at.
Yes.
They have different standards there. And the students are expected to be professional. It's more real world like, if you want to call it that. So she holds the students to a higher standard, and she does it too. She doesn't let them get away with the bullshit that regular school do. Another issue I have are retests.
Oh, I know, man.
I know, isn't that crazy?
I hear this and I go, God, why didn't I have that?
I
Yeah.
never had a retest.
Isn't that great?
And I tell Brandon, I tell Steven, well, Brandon knows now. I was like, you don't get a retest in college.
Mm-mm.
You fail it, you fail it. You don't
Yeah.
get the chance to go back and get a 70 or whatever. No, you get an F.
It totally waters down their effort, their work ethic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in high school, they're like, I'm going to halfway study. If I do good, I'll do good. If not, I'll just redo a retest. No, it doesn't work out in the real world.
I know.
You fail at an assignment or your project, you fail. You don't go to your boss and go, hey, I used to be able to get retests.
Yeah, let's just present
Can I
it again.
redo this?
Let's
No.
present it again. No,
You know,
you don't get that
I'm
opportunity.
going to pay you twice to do the same job. No.
Because me and all my friends, we used to get trophies for all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
or you're in the
participation
military
trophies.
shooting the bad guy. Hey, I missed that time. Can I retest and try to shoot you again?
Time out.
Yeah, time
Yeah,
out.
wait. Stop, everybody.
missed.
Stop.
That's so natural.
Okay, that's the second shot of you taking at me.
So, Austin, be prepared in the real world. You don't get to retest shit.
It is.
Yeah. So where's your daughter going to college?
She is going to go to Texas Tech.
Very nice.
Ah.
That's good school.
Mhm. The oldest daughter is going to be a junior there, so I'll have two of them.
My son, my oldest, is transferring to Texas Tech. He was at Stephen F. Austin for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So he's transferring this year.
That's a beautiful campus.
It
Stephen F.
is.
Austin.
It's absolutely beautiful, and he went there, and that's what attracted him there. And it's a very small school,
Mm-hmm.
so that was a detractor. And plus, he played football for him. And when he stopped playing football, I think that kind of soured the whole thing, right? Because the coaching shifted. And anyway, I don't want to get into all that, but I think when he stopped playing football and that whole part of his life was gone, it shifted the attitude towards SFA a little bit.
He was there for 2 years.
He was there for 2 years.
Normally when you're into your third year at a college, you have some sort of a, familiarity and maybe a loyalty to the school. It's kind of gutsy for him to.
Yeah, well, part of the problem
Move.
is his whole family, his whole collection of friends was on the football team.
Larry, he's got a girlfriend.
And she's going to Tech.
No, yeah, she's
Yes.
That's
And
the end of that discussion.
so he played the freshman year, and he finally said, I'm done with football. I'm done. I don't want to deal with it. And there's a coaching change. Like, I don't want to deal with it. So he was done. And but all his friends and everything, his whole social life, everything was tied with the football team. So
Yeah.
when that was gone, it was gone. So he was last year. He
yeah, that's got
really
to be
struggled.
tough.
He
Oh, for
really
sure.
struggled with it.
Everybody
so-
wants to be in a group, right? Like whether it's a frat or a this or a that. I mean, imagine being in a frat for a year or two and then you get kicked out of the frat. It'd be the
Right.
same
Yeah.
kind of feeling, right?
Yeah, he didn't get kicked out, but he's stopped doing it, and and he stayed in touch with some, but it's not the same.
No.
And he struggled with it, and here it is. And I think he'll enjoy himself out in Texas Tech. It's bigger, there's more experience.
He's a big dude too.
He's a
I don't
big
know why
dude.
he could still probably hang out with those guys. But you know what
Oh,
I was
no, he-
amazed with? As big as he is, all those other guys on the football team. I mean, he's 6'6", 6'5"?
He's 6'5". He played it. He was 6'5". He said he was 310 when he was playing.
But those
Wow.
the guys on the football team are bigger than him. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just I'm not talking about the front line. I'm talking about like there's some really large individuals. It's
Yeah.
just it blows me away.
That's
the
what it was,
talent.
because he was the biggest one every class he was in, all the way through senior year. He was always the biggest. And he goes to college. He goes during spring training. He goes, Dad. He goes, it's weird. He goes, I'm not used to not being the biggest.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm bigger than some guys. He goes, but there's other guys that are bigger than me.
Yeah.
He had some linemen that were 6'7", 6'8".
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
That's insane.
I just feel bad for the graduating seniors. Their college experience is going to be so weird going into their freshman year, not having any, probably going to be all online
Yeah, I
or
don't know.
whatever. What's Texas Tech doing? Do you know?
I don't think they've decided yet, but whether it's live classes or whether it's online classes, both have the daughters have announced we're leaving.
Same with my son.
You know what? I think that's
We're
important.
going.
My senior's the same way. He's going to Blinn College, right? Until he wants to transfer to Arkansas. And my wife and I were very clear. We're like, he needs to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's part of the experience, right?
It is. You know, and I'm a firm believer that it's 50-50, right? 50% school, 50% trying to live on your own for the first time.
Absolutely. Learning how to
Figuring
be
it out.
learning how to be a roommate, learning how to shop for groceries, learning how to cook for yourself, learning how to get along with other people that aren't your family.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
huge.
There's a lot of life lessons to be
It's
learned.
100% life
Mhm.
lessons, right? And it's gonna suck. A lot of it's gonna suck.
It did.
They're
My
gonna realize that it's not.
My
I mean, we
freshman
keep
year
trying to tell
sucked.
him he's gonna be the worst roommate ever. You should see his room. You should see every room he ever goes into. We're trying to tell him your roommates are going to hate you
Right.
because you're a slobby individual that doesn't care about his space.
And I tell you what, some of these boys would not be friends at the end of the year.
Oh, they won't be. That's the way it works.
Yeah, that's my concern.
Some of these people will not be friends by the end of the year. There's going to be disagreements.
Oh yeah, there's so
Well,
doubt
and
about
if they-
that.
everything.
Right. And if they know how to solve problems, that's another thing about life, knowing how to solve problems, right? You can just throw your hands up and say, we're never going to be friends again. Or you can work you work your damn problems out like adults, like men.
Well, the hard part
That's
is
another life skill.
the hard part is you're living together.
Yeah, sure. Sleeping in the same bed is awkward.
Yeah, spooning, and you can't. And it's not like
You took it too far with spooning.
yeah, it's not like high school where you can
You know,
say
they have their own rooms.
I don't want to hang out with you anymore, and you don't really have to see them except maybe in the hallways. Here, it's I don't want to see you anymore. Well, shit, you live
Oh,
Yeah,
in
but
the
can
same
you
apartment
unload-
with me, right?
But can you unload the dishwasher?
Yeah.
yeah, no, I
Yeah,
remember,
this will be interesting. Hey, your clothes are still in the goddamn dryer. Or, you know,
Yeah.
can you take care of your shit? You know?
Right.
I remember I roomed with one of my high school buddies, and oh man, we got into knockdown, drag out fights, and we didn't. I mean, it was tense. We didn't talk for a long time. I mean, we're
Right.
fine now, but I mean, yeah, it sucked
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, it's going to be a huge learning curve. You know, I think at this point in their mind, they're thinking we're going to college, we're going to be on our own. It'll be so much fun,
oh, we're gonna drink, we're gonna party,
and
we're
it
gonna
will
this,
be
we're
for a
gonna
little
that.
bit. And it will be for a little bit,
Yeah, sure.
and then they're going to settle in, and
Here comes reality.
Mm.
exactly,
Yeah.
you know, someone's not going to have food for whatever reason, and they start pilfering somebody else's food, and then
You were that roommate, huh?
Yeah.
Did
No.
you eat my crackers?
no,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Dude, I think I saw you eat my crackers.
because I lived with
You have cracker crumbs on your shirt.
Yeah, no, what the hell, man? Hey, hold on, let me try that. Those are my crackers.
So what I did, so I was the only carnivore in my house. So I lived with 4 other people.
Vegans?
Yeah, you lived with like
I lived
women.
I lived with 3 girls and another guy in one house,
Oh, you got
Yeah,
some
fucking
stories.
and we.
Jack Tripper over here.
Yeah, you got some stories.
No, not.
So how's it going, Larry?
It wasn't that kind of relationship. We were all just friends, but we had one refrigerator and we each had a shelf. Right.
Oh wow, that's hardcore.
So I
Yeah,
would.
that works.
So I
Yeah,
would.
never.
I was in the middle
Get
shelf,
off my shelf.
but I would buy the meat, right? And they wouldn't touch my shit. So, and I remember buying a whole chicken fryer because it was cheap. You can buy a whole chicken for $4, right? And I remember sticking it on that shelf, and it thawed, and it bled,
Oh.
and it leaked over all the
And
vegetarian.
yours was the top shelf.
And it leaked all over their food, and they had a fit. Oh, it was glorious. It was fun.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll clean it up.
How is
Yeah,
it
the,
possible back in that day? How
Yes, please and thank
4
you, beer.
vegans,
Yeah, not vegans, but vegetarians.
vegetarians. Right.
Yeah.
Damn, that's unusual. I didn't think vegan or vegetarians was a thing back then.
Yeah, they didn't really. The other guy was less so, but the 3 ladies were
yeah.
the 3 ladies were vegetarians.
Yeah, if anybody's gonna be one, I could see the guy. I mean, the girls being one. But
Yeah, but I remember the blood was just dripping.
Oh, you talking about the meat or the girls?
Well,
wow,
that too. Yeah, I could tell you.
Yeah,
I
a
could
little
tell you
raw,
some. I
little
can tell you
raw.
some story. One
we
of
got
the
to ease our guests into
But,
this kind of stuff.
You know what? He shared some stories with me already about this, and I was trying to get a beer, and I thought I missed something, and
you didn't.
well, speaking of the vagina, the
Speaking of vaginas, I thought
What-
that was a word we're not allowed to say on this show.
right. So one of the girls,
Vulva.
yes, her vulva.
Mulva.
She we had one bathroom in the
Vulva.
entire house.
Had her vulva.
So we all shared the same bathroom.
5 of you in one bathroom?
Yes.
Wow.
3 of them were girls.
Oof.
yeah, I could imagine you. I mean, you're
Yes,
such a
just
barnyard animal. I
drop
mean,
it.
Oh,
the
hold on,
bomb.
hold on. One bathroom in a how many bedroom house?
It was 5.
good lord.
5 bedrooms?
Yes, but it was a very old house, like 1920s.
How
like-
often have you
like
peed
house.
outside?
No, we had rules. We had things.
You weren't allowed to pee outside?
No, like if you're in there showering, you could go in there and pee, and you couldn't flush. So you
Because you didn't want to scald the person
Yes.
showering.
So the curtains were closed. You can go in there and pee, but then when you got out of the shower, you would flush for them.
Oh God.
You just couldn't shit. You couldn't drop a
All right,
douche.
Hold-
were the
time out, time
roommates
out.
hot looking? Were they hot?
Hold on. So
A
one
couple
of-
were cute, yes.
so the girl would be showering, and they would allow you to come in and pee while they were showering.
Yes.
Have you ever
That's
came
kinda
home drunk and
sexy.
played a game of hide the meat stick with
No.
your roommates?
No, never did.
Did
You
ask-
never went in the backyard and peed?
Well, yes. Of course.
That's your takeaway, Larry?
Well, that's what he.
Hold on, time out. After everything we're talking about, that's what you're centered on.
Sean asked that, and he said no, and I went. Well,
You
that's
just kind of
kinda-
glossed
yeah.
over the whole thing.
That's kind of weird.
Well, no, I mean, yes, it happened.
We're
but
talking
it
about
wasn't
hide the meat stick. We're talking about sex stories. You didn't pee outside?
So anyway, this one girl, we had one closet in the bathroom, and again, we each had a little shelf or a section of a shelf, and
This sounds awful.
and she
A parade of thongs.
she
just
had
hung.
a Monostat 7,
Oh, the
which
humanity.
which is a yeast cream,
It's like Vagisil.
I guess. I don't
Oh,
know.
well.
But anyway, it was her mother's that
Mm.
she was sharing with her mother.
What the hell, man?
And
Did her mom come by and pick it up every now and then?
Yeah,
she
how do you know these
Well,
details?
'cause she
Was her mom hot?
she brought her home with her. No,
Me
she
and
was not.
Mrs. Jones.
And
Hold on, you had to pee outside?
Did the mom pee outside?
She may have.
Who's squatting in the backyard?
So anyway,
Mrs. Jones.
the applicator was sitting there right there for everyone to see, with the creamy pubes all kind of stuck to it.
God.
That, you're embellishing that
No,
story.
I am not.
God.
Oh, that's awful.
I am not. It was awful, and the other girls were.
How can
mortified.
they?
Did-
Oh, come on.
Did you smell it?
You have to have some couth.
No,
Couth. Wow, that's a 5-point word. Very nice.
no. So yeah, that was a good gross out factor at that point. And she was a cute girl too, but that kind of ruined
Well,
it.
cute-
Yeah,
Well, hold
wow.
on. Cute girls have yeast infections. They're allowed
They
to.
do, but, you're
But
not
see,
supposed to
it's
see them.
those kinds of silly little stupid things with roommates
Yeah.
that cause these wars. You
Yeah,
know?
sure.
You're like, dude, do you have to leave your toenail clippings on the coffee table?
There
You
we
know,
go.
things like that, right?
Can you
Yeah.
use your used Monostat 7 applicator?
Yeah.
Can you please pick your condoms up off the bottom of the couch?
Do you have to pick butt hair on the sofa?
Your dingleberries and flick them at me.
I mean, those are all real stories, I'm sure.
Yeah, so,
Is that a poop stain on the remote control? What the hell, dude?
Dude.
but I think the girls had a bigger issue. I mean, I was just grossed out and I didn't pay any attention to it, but the girls were kind of.
Oh,
They're-
the other girls.
yeah,
Oh,
the other
that's the
girls.
other thing. Girls are awful to each other.
Yeah.
Like girl roommates are way worse than guy roommates. Typically, but you had to experience girl roommate fights along with what you had to deal with.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
That
Yeah.
must have been some. Did they come to you for
Like-
support?
No, we all
Emotional
for the most
support.
part we all got along.
Jeffrey,
The one girl,
she was awful.
the yeast infection
Hold
girl,
me.
she was kind
She
of
said this to me.
she was a little on the outside, but
How did you know these people?
I just met them in college throughout the years. So
Oh.
come junior year,
Okay,
Me-
so
me
you
and my-
so you knew them very well when you moved in with them. It wasn't like
Yes.
pull a tab off a thing hanging.
no,
in
we
the
knew who they
laundromat.
were, and actually my roommate, my sophomore year, we were looking for a house, and these girls had a house for 5 bedrooms, but 2 of the people backed out, so they asked us, "Do you want to move in?"
Oh.
And we were like, "Yeah, hell yeah!" It was cheaper, it was better house that wasn't the one we were looking at, so we did it. So we lived together for 2 years.
Where did you go to school?
Ohio University,
Hmm.
up in Ohio, obviously, in Athens.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, Ohio University in Tennessee. So yeah, actually, we met them because we were doing radio programs, and they were fans. Believe it or not,
Groupies.
they were listeners, and they would call in for requests and talk and all that all the time. There was a group of 4 or 5 of them that would do it, and we met them that way. And we ultimately met them in the cafeterias to eat lunch or dinner.
Yeah.
So we just kind of met them and became friends. And that was probably sophomore year. So, yeah, it worked out, And that's one thing that I wish our boys, because they're going to Blinn, Sean's son, my son, and Paul's son, and they don't have dorms, so they're going to be in apartment buildings, and like an apartment, regular full apartment.
And they're nice.
Yeah, they're nice. So they're not going to be living any hardship. Where I lived in
No.
a triple that was supposed to be a double that was smaller than this room. 3 people living in it, cinder block walls, right? With
Bunker.
with bunk beds.
Yeah, today's youth.
I was
they
never in a dorm. I kind of regret that. Just
It was
So I
fun.
could have
We had a
had the
blast.
experience.
Is that an Aggie Green? Did you go to A&M?
I did, yeah.
Okay, I did
I
too.
was always in apartments.
How come you were never
Yeah.
on campus
In a
at
dorm.
A&M? Yeah,
I don't know. I just never did.
skip that part.
I transferred there. My freshman year, I went to Lamar in Beaumont, and then after that, as a sophomore, then I transferred.
Oh, that
I
explains
don't.
it. That
I don't know.
explains
Is it? Do freshmen at A&M? Do you have to be in a dorm?
I don't know if you have to, but it was like the thing to do. I mean, I was on campus for 3 years before I moved off campus.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean that's atypical. And the only reason why we did is because we were in Hotard Hall, remember
oh
Hotard?
boy, yeah.
and that was a fraternity in itself.
That was the one with no air conditioning.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it had air conditioning when we were there, but in the beginning it did not.
When did you graduate?
93,
93.
93,
Okay.
94. Yeah, class of 93.
So I was 10 years behind you in 83.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that was the only, because we were like, man, it's time to get off campus. I mean, we got like all these freshman kids coming in, but like I said, it's a fraternity, so we were like, we kind of ruled the roost in the hall. You know what I mean? We could do whatever we wanted. So anyway, yeah. So that's cool. So your class of what now?
83. And the apartments that I was in, money was tight, man.
Did you
and
have roommates?
I would have, let's see, for 2 years, I had roommates in 1-bedroom apartment. So we shared the bedroom, one bathroom,
Yeah.
which, as I'm speaking it today, it just sounds like you did what?
Yeah.
But at the time, it was totally fine.
Totally normal.
Very normal.
So you had 2
Very-
beds in one room.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Two single beds
Well,
in
so
the
that's the way a
bedroom.
dorm room is. You
Yeah.
have two
Actually,
bunk
it
beds.
is.
2 bunk beds in a small room. Yeah. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
in my dorm, we had community bathrooms. We had 3 stalls, 3 toilets against the wall with no divider, with a divider but no doors,
Nice.
and a toilet and 3 shower heads.
That's the way mine was.
I mean, it was community bathrooms and guys that couldn't stand. I mean, if you have an 8:00 class, right, and you walk in to go brush your teeth, and there's a dude on the toilet reading the paper. The dude next to him is wiping his ass. 2 feet from him, the guy's peeing in the urinal, and there's 2 guys in the shower butt naked. If you can handle that, you can handle anything.
Yeah, I know the bathrooms when I was in my dorms. We had doors. But it was stupid because you're sitting there, but the walls only went this high.
Right.
So you're sitting there, and the sinks, of course, were right opposite.
But you had a door in front of you.
We had a door and side doors, but it was only this high.
We had no doors.
Yeah, but you had sidewalls, right?
That were about this wide.
Yeah, but how tall were they?
I mean, they were probably eye level, and then all you had to do was. Hey,
Oh
wait a
yeah,
minute.
his was worse.
Oh,
But
No
So
doors.
you could stare into your
So it's
neighbor's
basically-
eyes.
toilets against a wall.
Yeah.
Basically, is what it was.
what was weird is yeah.
That's weird.
So in
Yeah.
the sinks where people come in and brush their teeth were like 2 feet from you. So they'd come in and they're like, "Hey Jeff, what's going on?" You're sitting there going, "Hey Paul." You
Had
know.
tacos again.
Yeah, you just got to talk to
Yeah.
them while you're taking a crap and they're brushing
yeah.
their teeth.
Totally.
So,
Totally. That was our experience.
But again, saying it right here, right now, it sounds almost absurd. But back in the day, it was totally fine, right?
Yeah.
Am
Totally
I right?
fine.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of guys on the floor that couldn't handle it, and they were the guys that would shower at 2:30 in the morning
Okay.
because they didn't want anybody to see their penis.
right.
Can we say that word?
Really?
A couple of guys didn't want to show their vulva.
We said vagina earlier.
Yeah.
And creamy pubes.
Oh no, you said creamy pubes,
Dude, that
and
was
now I just said creamy pubes. My goodness,
that was a horrible,
visual.
horrible vision. I'm
Yeah,
Yes. Well,
a little scarred from that.
and what's again? I
me
don't want
too.
to keep talking about it, but that was
However, I'm interested in hearing more about the mother.
well, why the mother and the daughter shared the monostat?
Yeah, well, I mean, did she how did that work? I mean, did the mother show up at all hours of the night going, I just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Did she go in there and
Yeah, what is going on? Did, like, the mother lived nearby, or what?
She visited a lot.
She visited a lot.
Okay.
So
Golly.
maybe it was, hey, Mom, can you bring me your monostat? So
God,
she brought it down for her,
dang.
and it was half used.
And everybody crowded around while they talked about it? Or, I mean,
did they create a
where's
wall?
where's the privacy on the sharing of the monostat between mother and daughter?
I don't know. There
None
was
at
no
all.
privacy. We didn't have much privacy in that house.
Apparently not.
So we each had our own bedroom, but know.
Where'd you go to rub one out? I mean, if you got like 3
I had a door in my room.
That's what the backyard's for.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
use the backyard,
You didn't run one out in the backyard?
Yeah. There's a tree house back there, right?
So how was the
Climb up the tree house.
How's the lake?
Where's Jeff? He's in the treehouse
Yeah.
again.
He took the magazine up there and went to town.
Is it good?
The
So
magazine.
the please and thank you American Pale Ale from Lakewood Brewery. It's
Yeah. Not my.
it's
cup of tea.
a pale ale. So American, Indian, Oaxacan. It's still a pale ale. It's on the lighter scale of pale ales as far as
So it's not real hoppy.
It's not, but it's still a pale ale, and it's low. It's a 5.4%, so it's not very strong.
I want to try one.
I'm glad I bought it. Yeah, I think you'd like it. I'm glad I bought it. I don't think I'll buy it again. There was a time where I was enjoying the very hoppy beers. The hoppier, the better. The stronger, the
Yeah.
better. But I'm just over that now.
Yeah, no,
I
man.
never did like the hoppy beers.
I loved it, man. I'd buy like the LA Boulevard used to make these huge tankards, 750 milliliter bottles of beer with a cork. Pop that baby off, and you get like some quadruple ales, 10.5%, 12.5%, just off the
Yeah.
charts strong beer.
Yeah, but the taste.
Oh,
I
and
know.
for some reason I enjoyed the shit out of it back then. This is
I
back
I
when
never did.
I have consistently been water that tastes like beer.
Yeah.
Very light lager beers. That's I'm
I like
I'm 100% in on those.
I have difficulties with IPAs, really strong IPAs, because it's the bitterness that gets me. What they call hoppiness these days. It's not
I
bitter.
think the less work I do, and hold on, let me rephrase that. The more I was involved with like construction work, physically demanding work, I was able to handle all that stuff. I could drink so much, and the quality of the stuff that would take in, the calories. I'd get
Right.
every night. I'd play World of Warcraft. I don't know if you guys played that.
no.
Probably not, but I played World of Warcraft. I swear to God, for 2 years straight. 2
Yeah.
years straight.
Yeah.
There was 1 year, I think I missed maybe one night.
That's insane.
One night.
And then your squad was asking, "Where's Sean?"
No,
Dude, we're going on a raid, man.
no,
Yeah,
I was really
Come on. yeah. Did you
no,
study
I
your
was
spells?
I was a human priest.
We need your
You're a
healing.
cleric.
I was a human
Cleric.
priest, a discipline.
We can't go on a raid
I was a
without your
healer.
healing spells, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
You know,
I tell ya.
I'm making fun of it, but as a teenager, we played Dungeons and Dragons big
Yeah.
time.
You know,
D&D is
you know,
huge. Yeah.
With my brothers, we played a lot of D&D.
You see, Austin, Austin's a D&D master, so he hosts his own show
Hey,
or a game at our house.
It's
And
called a dungeon master, not a D&D master.
you know what?
Dungeon.
I'm going to be
Master.
nice because he's here, but my point is he created himself the map and everything.
Oh, nice.
And
I like it.
before COVID took on, we had a group at our house every Wednesday night, and we were playing it. And I can't
I
wait
love
for
it.
this stuff to get past so we can get back to gaming and doing the things that are important. Austin, just for your knowledge, yeah. Oh, there we go. I was a healer on World of Warcraft. My name was Dr. Murphy.
Nice.
Yeah, you like that? Dr. Murphy, I was the dude that was like, whoosh. I'll tell you what, if they were to come up with a movie, it would be something. They came up with World of Warcraft movie already, but they didn't have the things that I think would be cool with all the special effects and all the stuff that really goes into some of these raids that go on, where you have 40 people all playing the same video game at once trying to. I'm getting a little overwhelmed, so let me back
Hold on.
up. a
So
little.
what happened to the game? Is it still out there?
The World of Warcraft?
Is it still big?
Oh, it's huge. It's like
That's impressive because usually games don't
oh,
stick
it's
around a long time.
It's huge. In fact, the only reason I don't play it is because I don't want to invest in another computer. I don't want to invest in another computer right now. I've got a bunch of these little laptops that work and they're functional for doing stuff, but you need a demanding computer to play some of those games, and I just don't have the emotional energy to spend money on stuff like that.
Yeah, I never really got into it, but I know I'm late to the game and this is old, but I found it very, very humorous. That video out there where they were all trying to strategize outside of this room, and some guy just goes berserk and he screams his name or something like that, and he goes running into the room. What is that called?
It's like a movie?
No, it was a screenshot of the game. They were playing it, and it was somebody's name. You know what it is, Austin? Roscoe or something like that.
Kilroy.
No,
yeah,
it's not Kilroy, but
no, it's Kilroy.
no, it's not Kilroy.
Yeah, and it's and I think it is Kilroy. So
Is that like a YouTube?
Leroy,
thing?
it's Leroy.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, Leroy. Yeah.
It is so funny because you hear these just total World of Warcraft geeks
Taking it so seriously.
so seriously for like 30 seconds or a minute, just counting points, and you're going to do this, you're going to do that. So all of a sudden, this guy just goes, and they ask him a question. He just screams his name, Leroy Jenkins. He just goes charging in there.
All right. Well, let me give you a little.
no strategy or anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. And they just fail
So
miserably.
let me give you a little background on. Turn it down a little bit.
Oh, look how it's so geeky, right?
I love it, man. I enjoyed the shit out of it. All right, so what they're doing is they're about to go in and battle a main monster, and so they're preparing with all the buffs.
Here he goes.
Yeah, they sound older.
That's me up there.
That's you. Are you serious?
No, but
Oh.
I've been there.
Oh my God! I love the leadership this guy's showing.
Well, White, just watch.
He's probably the CEO of mobile or something.
Dude, this
Here he
was
goes.
Oh my God!
Watch this.
Oh my God!
What?
all right. You can kill it.
Oh.
All right. So the point is,
They
is-
failed so bad.
once you run into the area, and you pull what they call aggro. If you pull aggro and you get the attention of the game, the game now pulls all of its attention on that one person, and they attack. I mean, it's so exciting because you have to work as a team.
Right. Well,
You really if
apparently
that
you
was
don't.
if that was a 25-man, that looked like a 25-man setup. But there are bigger ones. There are 40-man setups where and it's incredible the stuff that you got to do. You got to be on your toes. I mean,
Number crunch.
the
Yeah.
number crunch. And look, he wasn't pulling that out of his ass. I mean, there are sub screens that you have on there
Oh my gosh!
that tell you all the stats going on, and you can see. I've like as a healer, I had if there were a 40-man raid, I had like 5x8 grid set up, and in each grid there were like 5 or 6 extra squares, and I can
Insane.
right click or left click on the squares, and I would heal people, cure them, dispel, and there was so many different things that you could do.
And then at the end of the day, the jackass Leroy.
Oh my God!
And then the whole thing is blown.
It
Weeks
was.
of preparation
It
and
became a
planning.
cliche.
33.3, repeating, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
I need you to check that number. Roger that. Affirmative.
What's your vector, Victor?
I know that's old, but I found that
You've
probably
got
a year or
Clarence,
so
Clarence.
ago, and I just laughed my ass. I watched it so many
Oh,
times.
that's great. That's
You ran out of
absolutely great.
time. Leroy
Yeah, he totally
Jenkins.
he's
You're out of time.
well, I mean, he's listening to the rest of these guys, and he's like, oh my God.
That's exactly
Yeah, you're
what
right.
it was. Exactly.
Yeah, he's like this 16-year-old that's like,
Did he just say
"Fuck it,
repeating?
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore.
Right.
I'm going to die.
And then, did
That
you
is
just run in there?
great. And then the other guy, oh, he just ran in there. Well, let's go save him. And then you hear the leader trying to like salvage the situation. Lay down the oh my shit.
They're all over the place.
Yeah. Fuck, I'm going down. I'm going down. Mayday. Mayday. I've lost all engines. I'm down.
And it goes even
It's very
further
exciting.
downhill from there. It keeps going
completely. Oh, that's great.
But it's amazing some of the. I mean, man, I'll tell you, just watching that little clip right there
Brought it all back.
Man, I'm enjoyed it. It's just like anything. I enjoyed playing the game. It was fun.
I don't have the time for that. There's no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh,
So-
it's a 3-hour block. No, that period. It's a 3-hour block.
All right. So
Yeah.
before video games, completely before video games, right? So we had handhelds, right? We talked about that, I think, last week.
Yes.
We had the little Donkey Kong handheld.
football.
we
I
had
football.
some of
The
that.
little Nintendo gameplay stuff.
You know, we had some of that, but we didn't have gaming. Well, I mean, we had like Atari, I guess, but I mean, so we played D&D, right? But what, like Larry, when you were like preteen,
Okay.
what would you play?
Pinball machines. Go to the
Arcade.
to the arcade and play
Oh
pinball.
yeah,
machines.
Black
Yeah.
Knight. That was like
Yes.
incredible.
Well, and we talked about that last week. We talked
And
about
then-
like Atari games. We talked about Galaga, and what was the other one? The with the stupid ostrich you guys were talking
Oh,
about?
Joust.
Yeah.
Joust. Really?
Yeah, and then in I guess late '70s, it went to the video machine arcades
So pinball was huge.
before the electronic games. Oh,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like like basically a ton of different types of pinball machines.
Yeah. Oh,
there
yeah.
you go,
Because
yeah.
now it's like there's like 2 or 3 pinball machines, or one or two.
Bars had them.
Oh yeah.
You know, some stores would have them in the
Well,
corner.
they're great money generator too. I mean, for what they are. I mean, once you buy them, they can pay for themselves in a week
Pinball
easily.
machine.
You know.
You know, the
Yeah.
little hamburger joint would probably have one in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Knight.
But
I remember.
nothing else? You had no other type of games like you would play with friends, or like what, you know what I'm saying? With cards, I guess cards. Right? Cards have always been around.
Oh, you mean stuff that we play at home? You're not
Yeah,
necessarily,
whatever.
not necessarily. Oh yeah. Me and Michael Halsey were big with our plastic army men.
Okay.
Oh
yeah,
man.
we did that. We had Army Men. We had Hot Wheels
Hot Wheels.
with the
Yeah,
orange,
there you go.
orange tracks.
Yeah, that
With
was
the
huge.
loop, the
Oh,
loopy
yeah.
shit.
Oh
And
yeah,
the orange tracks, you'd put them together with that little
purple
for the
purple
little,
connector.
Yeah, the little
What about
connector thing.
what about marbles?
Until my parents figured
Yeah,
out how to
we
beat the
played-
shit out of you.
We
with
played
them.
some marbles.
Yeah, we played marbles sometimes.
Never got into marbles.
Oh,
You know,
I
with-
love marbles.
With the Army men, you know what we did? We set up.
You keistered
We
them.
would set up a whole battlefield.
Oh yeah, man.
You know, in like a big room, like we have marble floors. I don't know why, but we
Did
have
you say
marble
keister?
floors, and we would set up the entire Army man setup, and we took matches and burned them to make little fortresses, and glued them and burned them together to make little fortresses and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then you know what? The battle was rubber bands.
Oh yeah, okay.
We would take turns shooting rubber bands at each other's stuff, and whatever we blew up and knocked over, they were dead.
And the green army men were the Americans, and the blue ones were the Germans.
were the Germans. And you're
Wow.
talking about the big ones now.
Nah, you know, about inch tall,
Yeah,
inch
yeah,
and
yeah.
a half.
Well,
yeah.
I say that because the ones we had also had the little ones. You know what I'm talking about?
I
they were-
never played Army Men.
There were whole sets of little ones
So
in
you had,
addition
like-
to the big ones.
So you had midgets in your army?
They're little midgets.
No.
Yeah, they were little people.
I think they were little people.
Oh,
No, back then
Yeah.
they were midgets.
yeah. You're allowed to
Full
call
blown
them
on midgets back
Yeah.
then. It was safe.
But it was badass because you would buy the set that was like the German African army.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean they had every
Good
like
lord.
it was very campaign.
Is it racist nowadays
Particular.
to have that kind of stuff?
How come they didn't have any Japanese
Oh, there you
army
go.
men?
They didn't.
I just thought
What a
of that.
great question. They did not.
They look like, is that those tan ones?
It
Look
was
Japanese?
always the
Look at those
Americans and the
helmets.
Germans.
They had British too. You see the British helmets?
Oh, you sure they didn't have the Japs?
The
I don't think
Japs.
so.
I don't think it's
never saw Japanese. It was only Germans and various allies.
I'm sure
Mhm.
that they had them. I'm thinking because they were probably made in Japan that they probably were like, we're not going to make these. You guys go fuck yourself. We're going to put on some different helmets.
Yeah, we're still sore from having lost.
Well, how would you designate them as Japanese? Because they're a solid color.
Dirty meat.
No. The uniforms and everything, dude.
Dirty
Yeah,
meat.
they
Just
had the
look at the
German
detail.
helmet shape.
Oh hell
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I know, but I don't even know what the Japanese army looked like. Wow.
No, they had swords.
Paul making signs over here.
What was that?
No, I was stretching.
Speaking of the Japanese, I told you guys earlier that when I was in high school, I interned at this American Forces TV station on Okinawa, right,
Yeah.
which is in Japan. We were one of the jobs that we were given. It's called the switcher, and you're basically just putting on the TV shows that are being aired at that moment. I
Yeah.
mean, some schlub has to put the film on a projector in order for it to be aired out over the airwaves, right?
Oh, okay.
And there's a guy that does that. We were under instruction that if any of the TV shows showed an image of a mushroom cloud, that we had to go to black, boom, immediately, because there was some
Oh, it's sensitive.
agreement. Yeah, because when I was there, Battle of Okinawa was only 30 years before,
Right.
which was really not that long.
No, not really. I mean, dude, dropping 2 atom bombs on Japanese cities it still resonates. I
Sure,
would
it does.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was horrific. I mean, it was necessary in my opinion, but horrific.
Well, when I lived in Germany, they used to they had to have the on the American Broadcasting System, the Armed Forces Network. They play Wonder Woman. So, my dad, what he did in the military,
She was hot.
Yeah, she was.
She had wide
Linda
crotch.
Carter.
She had
Mhm.
wide. She had
Yeah.
wide. She had wide crotch. I don't know what she did.
The way
there.
she could move her wrists around and
Yeah.
block stuff. That
Dude,
was so sexy.
Hey man, my dad had a magazine with her in it, and you know what? We'll talk about that later.
Nude.
So
Uh-huh.
I drew nipples on it, and I didn't know
Did
what I
you-
was doing. I just did it.
Did you lick the magazine after you drew nip?
You know, that's another story. So let's.
The magazine was all crusty and your dad got angry.
Oh my God, man! There was one time when I lived in Colorado. Well, my parents had a J.C. Penney's magazine, and my mom's kind of like, I had drawn nipples on all the women in the entire catalog.
You sick bastard.
I was sick. I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
No, you
And my dad mentioned something. Another little snippet from living in Colorado. My dad mentioned something about the Bunny Club. Now the Bunny Club is what we think.
Playboy, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know. The Bunny Club. Oh, those cute little bunnies. Anyways, my parents still make fun of me for that. But, being in Germany, my dad would, one of the things that he did is he worked one-on-one with the German military, teaching them a specific trait.
Mhm.
And some of the officers on the German side, we became friends. And their family would come over with our family and hang out, which was very cool. Very, very cool. And I've got tons of stories up for that, too. But we ended up going over to their for Christmas time, and they had the entire tree decorated with these little chocolates because in German they got the Christkindl marked and they got all these proprietary Christmas stuff on there.
Okay.
Our family went over there, and in one night, the whole Christmas tree. This
Did
is
you
like an
eat them?
8. All of them. Okay,
The
there were
fucking
hundreds.
Americans.
There were hundreds of them on this tree. It was hilarious.
Your family just basically like locusts.
Oh,
And they
man.
came down. And they came down Christmas morning. The killed kids, and they're like,
Yeah.
"My tree,
Daddy,
Achtunga
Daddy,
tree."
where are the chocolates?
Well, they didn't have any kids back then.
Oh,
They ended up. We were the kids, but it was just we went on vacation with them. We ended up going to Italy a few times, 2 summers in a row with their family. It was pretty cool,
Yeah.
But I remember them coming over to the house and our house, and I had Wonder Woman playing, and it was even at a younger age, it was very uncomfortable because back then Wonder Woman had a lot of Nazis on him. I don't know if you remember. Her thing was fighting Nazis on that show.
I see. Yeah.
I mean, I thought you. So, anyways, I'll see if you could pull any of that up. The Wonder Woman with Nazi programs in the
Fighting the
70s.
Krauts.
Yeah, because it turns out their name was Beatrice, and Ziggy. And now Ziggy, you would think, Ziggy, the little cartoon character, 2-3 feet tall dude, big eyes and nose. This dude was like, he had to duck his head. He was taller than 6'8".
Yeah.
He had to duck his head to get through a normal door.
Wonder Woman.
So and they had like on the show, the actual show wasn't a cartoon. They had the Nazis on there, and she was, oh yes, and they spoke English, but it was just with the accent. It was just a memory, Back then they had the Nazis. It was kind of uncomfortable.
Even then
For
you?
me, it was. Even
Back
as
then, it was uncomfortable for you.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Because
you
they
should've,
were,
like, you
they,
should've,
they were
like,
the clearly
high-stepped.
the villains, and they clearly talked like your friends, your family friends, who were German.
correct.
I got
Nine.
you. I
And,
got you.
but that's the whole, and that kind of adds.
Clout. 9.
But that even adds to the
Sounds like
level
Arnold
of
Schwarzenegger.
education that they had for the
They were
kids
skinned
back then.
alive.
Everyone gets to take a shower.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Sorry.
So
Go ahead.
but but that also is a reflection of the type of education that they had back then. Is that they taught that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, and they didn't teach. They don't teach. They sure the hell don't teach that now.
Oh no.
And it was very uncomfortable because I knew that was wrong. I knew there was a conflict, but Beata, I remember her saying, "No, it's okay. It's just a show." I mean, my dad was a Nazi, but he didn't want to be one.
Most of them didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, not to get into German history, like before the Third Reich and all that, but I mean, they kind of had to.
Yeah.
And the people who fought for that army kind of had to. I mean, so my history is German, and I don't know my history before, I think, 1905. Somebody came over from Germany, and I don't know what happened.
Well,
Like, I don't know what happened.
Well, they have re-education camps, right? Is that what they call them? Isn't that what Bernie wanted to do? Have re-education camps? That if you don't think like you're supposed to, you go to
yeah,
these
big
camps
time.
and
I mean,
you will learn to think like us.
it's
Bernie.
kind of creepy. Like when they talk about setting up hotlines for reporting your neighbors if they're not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
That was Nazi Germany, dude. that was they
Right.
they set up stuff to say if they're not on board with the Nazi propaganda. I mean they indoctrinated the kids to spy on their parents and turn their parents in. If their
Right.
parents were talking about not being on board with what Hitler was doing and not being on all that kind of stuff, they would turn their parents in.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy. And they didn't know what they were doing. It's all brainwashing.
I wonder what the high school history class in Germany is like. I mean, does the guy get to, okay, we're up to...
Nowadays or back then?
Now, yeah. Okay, we're up to 1925. That brings us into the 30s and the 40s. That's not going to be on the test, so just forget about that part. And
skip that.
we'll skip right to the 50s.
Yeah, we got our asses kicked. Let's move on.
Well, you kind of look at how our classes are going, right? Are the kids taught our American history properly, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I know what I was taught. Do they teach that these days? Do they talk about the founding fathers the way they used to, and the slavery and what happened, and the Irish that were mistreated, and all that stuff, right?
Indentured servants.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, I don't know if they go through all that in the depth that it used to be, because we don't want to acknowledge that.
I heard, I saw a video, which I never knew, that there were white slaves in northern Africa. Did you know that?
It's called me at work.
Oh, wow. Wow.
In northern Africa?
In Northern Africa.
No, I've not heard this.
Well, I haven't either, and I was just kind of wondering. I downloaded the clip. I'll play that on the second half. But I was just interested in that because I've never heard that before. White slaves in North America going on at the same time.
North America or North
I'm sorry,
Africa?
North Africa.
So where were they from? Where were the whites
Europe.
from? So they're like
It's
French.
funny
or-
you say that. I heard that on talk radio on the way over here this afternoon, as a matter of fact. Larry Elder was talking about it, and he said they were white slaves, and they were Slavs. That's where the word comes from. Slavs.
Slovakia?
Slaves, Slavs, that's where the
Oh,
word comes
interesting.
from.
No way. Really?
Czechoslovakia.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're the Eastern Bloc.
People have brutalized people for thousands of years. Okay.
Yes.
You've had anybody who's got power over somebody else and they're not of the same whatever color, tribe, area, whatever it is, they brutalized them. This is normal behavior. Not normal. This was
Typical.
it's typical human behavior. That's what that is. I mean, there's been Chinese slaves. There have been black slaves. There have been white slaves. There have been. I mean, it's
They still have Chinese slaves,
yeah. This is humans are horrible to each other. They just are,
right?
and it's about power. I mean, we talked about this one. I think it was last week. A lot of the slaves that were sold, and we have to get off this topic, I know, but a lot of the slaves that were sold to the United States and to Europe were sold by black people. It was a tribe wanting to gain power over another one,
Right.
taking them over, brutalizing them, and getting rid of them by selling them. I mean, it's just awful. Humans are awful to each other. But let's move on. Are we on?
Are we on
Yeah,
intermission?
we're about to take intermission, but
Yeah.
this is kind of an interesting topic because it kind of ties in directly with some of the absurdity of the Black Lives Matter and the whole "I deserve money, I deserve reparations."
Oh, the reparations.
You know,
thing.
it's bullshit because everyone deserves reparations sometime within their life, sometimes within their parents' life, generations and generations. The Indians. All right, well, who was here before the Indians? Where does it end? I mean, it's never
yeah.
going to end.
Native Americans.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So speaking
Delete
of
that.
you
Hold on,
saw
that was
that
a Mexican, Italian.
Cuban.
Yeah,
You did
there's
see
some
that.
Cubans in there.
Maybe this is topic for part 2, but you saw Washington is changing their.
See, that's bullshit
mascot.
too because
The Redskins. Yeah.
yeah, you know what? There
Yeah.
was the grandson spoke up on that, and the grandson was kind of like, you know what, my grandfather designed that label, and we were proud.
Well, an
to
actual
be-
Indian did.
Yeah, we were proud to be on that. He was an Indian.
Yeah, he was.
That was one of the most proudest moments was to be on that helmet, and now you guys are taking away from that. Who are you to take that away from us when we decided we wanted that on there? It was an honor.
Think about why. Think about why somebody would want to put that as their team mascot. It's because they're fierce warriors, and you're not going to fuck with them.
Yeah,
and
they're tough.
Really, I mean, it is to want to be that mascot,
Right.
It's this
right? Otherwise,
It's
you'd be
silent minority
I don't get
that
it.
is consuming us.
I heard a phrase the other day. If a Republican doesn't like guns, he doesn't go buy a gun. If a Democrat doesn't like guns, he doesn't want anybody to have a gun.
Right.
If
Right.
if a Republican is offended by NFL football, he just doesn't go to the game. If a Democrat is offended by the Redskins logo, he demands that it's changed.
Oh, that's right.
That's a difference.
That is
That's
the
a
difference.
key
It is a
difference right
difference.
there.
But you bring that up, and one funny story about that is when Democrats or liberals feel unsafe and they would like to get a gun, especially in California.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yep.
They ran into the gun law, gun control requirements, and how hard it is to get a gun. And they were like,
And they
"What
don't
the
like it.
hell? We're trying to we're in danger. We're trying to protect our family, and you're telling me I got to wait 2 weeks before I." Oh,
Yes, these are the rules
wow.
you passed.
Suddenly now things changed a little bit, doesn't they?
Yes. Yes.
All right, we'll be right back.